It's time to start Dishin Days with your hosts Tony Moore, Michael Mattis, Justin Lee Hareld, and Araceli Aviles. And now, let's dish.
Hello, everyone. Happy Sunday. Welcome to Dishin Days. I am filling in for Tony Moore. I'm Araceli Aviles. And here in our beautiful circle of Dishin Days, we have
Michael Mattis.
Hey guys, Justin Hareld.
All righty, everyone. Welcome to this week's show. It is Sunday, April 6th. We are officially into the swing of spring. And before we get started running down today's show, we would like to welcome you to follow us on social media. We are Dishin Days Show on Facebook, at Dishin Days on Instagram, and Dishin Days on X and Threads. You can also find us on podcasts wherever you get them. We are on Apple, Google, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. And you can also get us here on YouTube to make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you're watching us here, you can watch us live on other platforms as well, but make sure you like and subscribe. And also be sure to join our exclusive members only page if you have not done so yet. We are on month 4. Are we entering month 5?
I think we're 6. We're already in 6. Yeah.
Oh, is it all right? We're at the halfway. We're entering into the halfway mark
7,
for our exclusive members only page. For $4.99 a month, you will be getting exclusive content, including an extended version of Justin Hareld's
Those were the days.
Those were the days. It's one of those days for me, as well as my personal segment, The Ass Says, and you will get other perks, including exclusive content, as well as our virtual happy hours and our After the Dish segments. So please make sure you subscribe to that if you have not already, if you are a regular viewer. And also be sure to support our good friend James Law Jr. over on JLJ Media. He's got all the other exclusive coverage for General Hospital, Bold and the Beautiful, and Young and the Restless, as well as other exclusive audio content. So be sure to give a listen to him over there. And without further ado, what did we think of this week's Days of Our Lives?
Really good.
It's pretty good.
Yeah. A lot of theories. I'm interested to hear people's picks in their reasoning. So yeah.
Yes.
For a big storyline.
We finally got what we got. We finally got the big moment from the promo.
Yes.
Well, the other big moment. There are a couple big moments from
there. There are a lot of big
the
moments from the for the promo that was released at Day of Days back in November of last year. Oh my God, it was already last year.
Yeah, it was almost 6 months ago.
Yes.
Now.
Yes.
I don't remember, and maybe I'm not remembering correctly. I don't remember them featuring stuff on a Day of Days promo that didn't have the stuff that happened like that long in advance. You know what I mean?
Yes, it seems like they hit some big event every month. And according to scheduling, they released basically up until this coming week.
Mm-hmm.
So
because Sammy was in the promo too, and
so it's my understanding that as of this coming week, which we will cover next week in next week's show, that will be everything that was released during the promo that was released at Day of Days.
Oh no, there's a lot more. There's a lot of the John stuff too is in there.
There was like little snippets, but in terms of storyline, like I think there were just little glimpses that they had just shot, not really content. In terms of like the storyline, I think this week is it.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. No, somebody did correct me. The very, very last shot of Hope. But
Bo and Hope.
Yeah. But truly, we have no idea when that is coming. That could have been just shot, so that could still be quite a while.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you all for correcting me. Yes.
Can't
All right.
forget Blowing Hope.
Yes. Okay. So without further ado, I do not have an hourglass here. Tony will be back, believe next week with his hour.
Yes.
Oh my gosh!
I still have yours too, by the way.
What? Okay. All right, Justin, you want to kick it off?
Oh, you count it down and I'll flip it.
Okay.
You can see it. I know.
Okay, you have to put it like right in front of your face, I think.
I know. Okay, here we go.
Okay, ready? All right, here we go. Let's start. 1, 2, 3.
Dishin
Days.
Days.
Oh, that was pretty good. Cool.
Nice.
Put that over here.
Okay. Surprisingly, guys, I was surprised to learn this morning that we only have 2 storylines this week, it turns out. But the first one is just kind of, we've been building to this one as in who done shot EJ. And I very quickly jotted down the list of suspects.
Oh my God, how funny.
And I can't tell if it's like, does it
No, we can see it.
Okay, good. And
Yeah.
my screen, it appears weird.
No,
Yeah, it looks good.
So far, these are the list of suspects that I was able to jot down very quickly. We have Kristen and Jada and Rafe, and Gabby, Ava, Rachel, little Rachel, big Rachel, Johnny, Kate, Roman. All right. Anybody shout out any suspects that I have forgotten?
Sammy.
Sammy?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. All right, down Sammy. These are just these. So this will act as a preliminary list, a preliminary graph, if you will. And whenever the suspect is revealed, or as we go through where everyone was at the time, we will try to slowly erase people.
Oh, someone else said Paulina.
Okay.
I was gonna say, I was thinking like maybe a loose suspect would be called Paulina.
Yeah.
I mean, she was kind of at home, but
as far as we know,
there was that several hours later or whatever.
There's a time gap.
There was a lot of as far as we know.
Okay, so what part of this are we getting into? Are we generally or what
Well, starting off, we have
where to start with this. There was so much going on. Well,
okay.
I'll tell you a little bit of my theory. Justin and I were talking about this.
Yes.
Regardless of who done actually fired the gun, I'm convinced that EJ was actually involved with his own shooting.
Okay. I kind of agree with Michael. Most of the week I got that sense too. It was the way he was talking to the camera and then saying he was reminiscing, I think, to Stefano's portrait about being a few steps ahead of everyone. I was like, oh, is he doing a setup? Like, is he either gonna frame his own shooting or frame something? And then I think that's like my second theory. I think I'm leading with the theory that it was young Rachel. That's my pick for now, is that it was young Rachel who shot him. For various, and I started to think about that, and I thought like, oh, it's one reason, and then I started to think, and I was like, oh no, it could be, I'm giving her like 5 different reasons to shoot him. I'm giving her, well, one, they've established already that she eavesdrops on people in the house.
Oh yeah.
We knew that from before, that she's popped up in other plot lines, been like, I overheard this, or I heard you talking. So I think she shot him, one, for kidnapping older Rachel and like her partner in crime. I think she overheard his situation with Belle and knows that her Aunt Belle is after him. I think she overheard the stuff with Johnny and her Aunt Sammy, that he wasn't so kind to her and good to her. Also, he has ruined her brother's adoption plans with Tate.
I don't think she cares about that so much.
Well, I'm giving that as a reason for her possibly wanting to shoot him. And those could be individual or they can be an accumulative. But yeah, if I look at someone who is looking for a reason to shoot him, I think young Rachel for those reasons can be added to that list.
Yes. You know who's interestingly not on this list that I don't think will ever be added? Belle. I tried to think of all the people in EJ's orbit, and she's probably like the only one that's not on this list.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm fine with her not being on it. I don't.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
understand.
Who is it? It's easier to come up with a list of people who are not on the list.
I know. Yeah. Exactly.
Which would be like Belle, JJ,
someone said Arnold, which is a good choice.
no,
We really don't know where he
he's,
is.
he's on the list.
Oh, he is. Okay.
Yeah, no, he's on the list because we don't know where he is. Which is another reason Big Rachel is on the list because we don't know.
Well, who do you think, if you want to say, who do you think?
I am leaning towards I think it's either Rachel Black, not Blake, or somebody who is not on this list.
I automatically assume that it was no one that they showed us.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like Days has a history of doing that. They give us this murder mystery and they set up all the main people on the show as culprits, and then who we see is the actual person is no one we would have ever thought. I don't think it's going to be that because I am leaning towards young Rachel.
They've even gone as far as to make up a new character, and they're the ones that did it.
Yeah. So I'm not leaning towards, no one on the list stood out for me, or I guess the list of suspects that they showed us that I was like, okay, I can see this person doing. I don't know. I'm for some reason I'm leaning towards young Rachel, probably because they didn't show her,
and also because EJ was sitting down when he was shot,
and he wasn't surprised by the person. I first originally when I saw it, I thought I remembered him saying, like, what are you doing here? But then I went back and I looked, and he didn't.
What are you doing?
He said, "What are you doing?"
He said, "What are you doing?" He didn't look surprised.
Wasn't surprised by the person. It wasn't, you know what I mean? Like it. I feel like if it was like I mentioned Sammy, but I feel like it's not Sammy because he would have been a little bit more startled. I felt like it was someone he knew, and I'm guessing. And again, I looked toward Rachel because I was like, okay, it's someone who lives there then, or you know what I mean, or someone who he's at least somewhat familiar with.
So yes, so there are, hours after this has happened, there are only two things that we know for sure. One, that whoever shot EJ, he knew them.
Yeah.
We don't know if he was surprised to see them in the house or not, but he knew the person who shot him. Yeah. That's the one thing we know. And two, that Rafe caught the whole thing on audio.
Here's the thing. Here's what I started to wonder.
Mm-hmm.
Did EJ know the bug was there, planned his own shooting, and that "what are you doing" line was for the cameras? You know what I mean? So now who he's trying to set up or what his full plan is, I don't fucking know. But I'm just thinking, like, years ago, Tony DiMera fashioned a device to shoot himself with. And we only saw, when EJ got shot, we only saw like a close-up.
Mm-hmm.
He could have shot himself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So there are very few clues that we have today, but I think that it's, correct me if I'm wrong, I think we just got the audio. Rafe only caught the audio, not visuals. Okay, so let's make that perfectly clear right now. No, Rafe did not get anybody on camera. He planted an audio device, hoping that would be able to entrap Rafe into incriminating himself, since everybody talks to the damn portrait.
And to all of you asking, like, about would EJ, want himself to be shot or want to be put in a coma, he was drinking something while he was ranting with that monologue. And we know DiMera's and Dr. Rolfe can come up with concoctions. Like, for all I know, EJ wanted to put himself in a coma. Mm-hmm. I feel like this isn't just going to be a straight up whodunit. Someone shot him. There's all these suspects. We find out who did it. done. I think he definitely had involvement in it. What the full scope of the plan is, I don't know. But
Yes.
And
So
we
we
also-
know.
oh.
Okay, no, you go ahead.
I was gonna say we also got the generally speaking here before we get into plot, but we also got the was it sometime later or some hours later? I forget the exact verbiage.
They showed sometime later.
Sometime later, yeah. So we know that hours passed between. Oh God, who was it? Who was the last person to see him? Was it Belle? And then we got the sometime later.
No, Kristen.
Kristen.
It was Kristen, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So between his interaction with Kristen and when he was actually shot, there's missing hours. We don't know what happened between those hours. My guess is we're gonna sort of like the Charlie murder. We're gonna get a parade of our main stars coming in and out of the Demira mansion, maybe having interaction with EJ. Maybe someone does pull a gun on him but doesn't shoot. You know what I mean? I feel like there's a reason they're giving us there was a missing time lapse there.
Well, before that, you know what? There's one other big difference between this whodunit and other whodunits. There not only a lot of suspects, there's a lot of potential weapons.
A lot of guns.
A lot of guns flying around this week. A lot of guns.
Yeah.
What about Sophia?
Oh. I thought about her too, kind of. I wouldn't.
It was a weird one, but
I'm okay.
Yeah, I mean that would again be a loose one, but she would be upset that it's EJ's. It's essentially EJ's fault that this baby isn't getting adopted. So
I thought about that too. I did think, Sophia, because I was like, okay, who aren't they showing us that could also have a gripe with EJ? And I was like, okay, we didn't see Arnold, we didn't see Sophia and Tate, even though I don't think it's Tate. I would lean more towards Sophia over Tate, but like him, Arnold. Yeah, it's like who else in the Days universe also has beef with EJ that we didn't see?
Yep.
No, correction here. Johnny didn't have the gun we saw.
Roman had the gun.
Wait, okay. This is the thing with the time lapse though.
Yeah.
It's hard to tell now because we saw. I guess we'll talk about it when we get to the
that's a good jumping off point for like how we're gonna go through this. So let's start with gun number 1 potentially. Let's start with gun number 1, which would be Jada's gun. Jada, the top of the list suspects, or at least the most recent people that EJ has wronged are Jada, Rafe, and by proxy, Belle, because he was in a relationship with her, and he keeps lying to her, and she was sent in this week to entrap him. Didn't work out. So, in the lead up to what would be EJ's potential demise, we got all these other pissed off people from the Rafe and Jada perspective. So do we think that either one of them did it? Let's go with them first.
Jada or Rafe?
Yes, because Jada's gun is missing.
Jada's gun is missing because she well, she thinks she locked it in her desk.
She thinks she locked it.
I was like, okay, why isn't the first thing with Sean and her? I was like, why isn't the first thing you're doing going back to the office and making sure the gun's there? First thing you do, go back and make sure the gun's there. No, I don't think it was either of them, but I feel like Jada's gonna be a suspect.
Jade's absolutely going to be a suspect, as is Rafe, especially since at some point he's going to have to reveal, because unless the Salem PD is totally inept, and we're not going to go there just yet, they're going to realize that there's some kind of audio equipment in that room. They have to search that room from top to bottom. So,
well, no, he took it back.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Also, Jada's only a suspect if her gun was used. Otherwise, no one will know it's her gun.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
she's only a suspect if they say her gun was used to kill him or shoot him, I
Yes.
should say.
Well, that could
I-
exonerate her if they find out it wasn't her gun. Like she'll be a suspect, but then once like they get the whatever it's called, the
Forensics
get going forensics, yeah. And once they find out whose gun was used, like we'll start with her in the suspect pool, but then eventually it'll shrink down and she'll be, unless it was actually her gun. If it was her gun, then she'll be a suspect for a while. But
yes, and it's
good.
And it's just as angry as Gabby is, I just don't think that she's that trigger happy right now.
And I don't know. I want to go back to suspects for a minute. Just a little nugget. Susan is allegedly not answering her phone. I don't know if we want to consider her a suspect.
No.
Wait, Susan, EJ's mother? That's it?
Yeah.
Okay.
When Chad was talking, and this is off what we're talking about, I went off, sorry, but I wanted to bring it up because I thought about it and forgot to mention it. When Chad was going through, like he was calling the family, he's like, Susan's not answering.
No, I think that it's just late, and Susan's the type of person who goes to bed early.
All right.
Yeah, no, Susan would never.
Okay, back to I'm just saying, like that was something that stuck out in my mind. Susan's not answering her phone. Okay,
why not? Yeah,
but back to Jada and Rafe.
I also see like a situation Monday where we see Jada. We also could see her go to her desk, and then like that's the relief is it is locked in there. You know what I mean, kind of a thing.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Or it's her gun was used, and her gun is also locked in her desk. You know what I mean? Like it could, both of them can still be true at the same time.
Yes. Either way, I think it's good that JJ is the lead investigator this time, because everybody else I think is potential suspects. Everybody else, and at least I mean probably not Sean, probably not his partner, but probably best to have JJ lead this one.
Well, I also feel like these people, and this is part of it too, they're also distracted because they had a lot going on this week themselves. I mean, we had the big fight, the big Jada and Rafe fight, which I thought was so well done.
Mm-hmm. Okay, all right. Now this is the big question. Show of hands. Who thinks that Rafe is being unfair to Jada?
I think he's being unfair to Jada, but I also want to give him a little grace to be upset. Like it's upsetting to hear regardless of the situation, but I do feel like he does need to forgive her eventually. Like he has a right to be upset now about it, and maybe what he's upset about is a little misdirected. But I mean, I do think he should forgive her. Because and he keeps mentioning, how could she not know? And I do like how Gabby and I think
Javi,
they both kind of said, well, we didn't know either, and we're your family.
Yeah.
So I understand. Okay, so I understand why he's upset, but I think he will eventually realize that she's not. She's not really wrong for what she did. At the time, their relationship was over in her mind.
Okay.
I don't blame him because as far as this point right now, he just said, I need some space and asked her not to come home for the night. I'll see if it turns into something more where he's like, I hate you, I'm through with you, get out of my house kind of a thing, then maybe that's unfair. I don't think it's unfair for him to say, I need space to work this out. Don't come home tonight. Find another place to live. I think that's perfectly acceptable.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought he made a good point when he said, like, yes, she brought it to him, which is nice and admirable. But he's also been they've been back together, or he's been back on the canvas now for, I'm assuming now, a few weeks, a month or something. So it's like, she did hide it for that long. She didn't sit him down after a week and say, this is what happened. There's been a little bit of time here.
Yeah. Well, I guess we'll see how Rafe's continued reactions unfold.
I think he'll realize eventually. This is just his gut reaction. I think he'll realize, hopefully in a short amount of time, that they may not be able to go immediately back to like what they were, but I think he'll give it a chance. Of course, there's a spoiler out there that I accidentally came across, but we won't discuss it. But I hope he forgives her.
Yeah, we'll see.
I don't think it's enough to ruin their relationship over, especially considering the circumstances.
Or it shouldn't be.
It shouldn't be.
Exactly.
Also, horrible idea to go back to Sean's. I'm sorry.
Bad idea.
Horrible idea.
You have this is what your girlfriends are for. Stephanie was right there.
Or the Salem Inn is for. Yeah.
Or even the pub. Roman would, Ava just left town. Roman had a room.
And she lived there before.
He has 2 rooms now because Joy isn't there either. So yes,
that's right. Joy moved out. Ava moved out. A room would have been available. She could have knocked on his door, and he would have taken her in a second. Hell, she could have knocked on. She could have gone to the hospital, knocked on, asked Kayla for a key, and Kayla would have let her stay on the couch. Literally, she had any other option.
Yeah, you go to the Sean drop you off at the Salem Inn. Like going to his place is a horrible idea. Horrible idea.
Bad idea.
Bad idea. Okay, and then the other top suspects, we have Kristen and Ava are also at the top of the suspect list after Brady and Ava called it quits, and Ava hightailed it out of town. And while Kristen may be happy about that, she's still not happy about the situation she's in with her mother being missing. And seems like all roads lead back to EJ. Yes.
So we saw Ava outside the house, and then sometime later, EJ was shot.
Yep. Yeah.
And then she hightails it out of town and dumps the gun. The same, presumably the same one Melinda gave her, into the garbage as she's leaving.
Yeah.
Yes. Are we surprised that Ava left town in such a rush if she's not the one who shot EJ?
Yeah, it was a little like, oh, okay.
I think it's just a smoke screen. I think they were trying to make us believe that she did it, but she didn't really do it.
Yeah, it was
or it's going to be one of those things where like she thinks she did it for some reason. Like if there were multiple people there, like that's also, I guess, something I thought. I'm like, what if somehow she thinks she did it, or somehow multiple people think they did it and they actually didn't? Hasn't that been part of like a story before? Like multiple people think they did it, but then it was someone else.
Yeah, I don't know how this would work with a gun, but I think, or it could be a thing where she came into the mansion, saw him shot, and was like, "Screw it, I'm not calling for help." Maybe.
Oh yeah, because they'll think it's me. Yeah.
Yeah, or would have been like he got. I didn't kill him, but he got what he deserved. So I'm gonna go on my merry way, and
bitch is dead. I'm out of here.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Even though she has, who's running the bistro.
I mean, while the timing is suspect, like she's right in that there's really no reason for her to stay there.
I was going to say it was similar to the Sammy situation where remember she was going to kill Charlie and then she got there and I think he was already dead. So like she was implicated because she was kind of there or something. But yeah, very similar.
Yeah.
Annette.
What just? Oh my God!
Maybe.
Who knows? I know.
Who knows? But as we've established, Kristen, to the best of our knowledge right now, Kristen was the last person to see EJ alive, and she had plenty of motivation.
Absolutely.
And she was in the house.
Yes,
and her alibi about not hearing the gunshot because she was in the shower and blow drying her hair.
Possible.
I don't think she did it, but I think she's gonna be like a number one suspect. Also, I think Tina dropped an accidental spoiler last week. I'm not gonna repeat it, but because she was talking about something. But it made me think that Kristen's gonna be a high on the list of suspects.
Oh, she's definitely high on the list, and her alibi is very flimsy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't think she did it. I don't think it was Kristen.
No. Yeah. Michael Madness, do you have a pink drink?
I do. And no, it's not a cocktail. It's the same thing I was drinking last week. It's sparkling water mixed with brisk strawberry melon water or strawberry lemon tea. Melon tea. It's good. It's good.
So many pink drinks today.
But no, like, okay, so we think so we don't think Ava did it, but we think she left because she doesn't want to be, she's afraid of being implicated.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd say that.
I think she did it for some reason. And then Kristen, we don't think she did it, but she was at the house and her alibi's flimsy.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it may have been, we don't know whose gun it is yet.
Yeah.
So
and she could have been covering, I mean, if they go with the Rachel theory, she could also be covering for her daughter. Yeah.
We only have Kristen's word for what where her daughter was at what time.
Yeah. I did laugh at when JJ was questioned. She was like, "You showered?" It was like, she was like, "Yeah, I took a shower." Like it was that
shower before bed.
Yeah, like it was an abnormal thing to do.
I used to go to bed clean.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. And then next up on the suspect list, we have EJ's own son and everybody in Johnny's orbit who is pissed that that EJ messed with the adoption, and two, that well, at least the people who didn't know that EJ had raped Sammy have now found out, and so everyone in that circle. So we know that Johnny was in possession, at least for a couple seconds of his grandfather's gun.
So let's clear this up. It was implied that he took the gun. That he was implied that he took Roman's gun. The next time we saw the gun, Roman was putting it
back. Yes.
After EJ was shot.
Yes. So we don't know what happened. We saw Roman take a call from Kate. And that was the last time. That was the last time we saw the gun until Roman put it back. So we have a chunk of time where we don't know where that particular gun from the Brady pub was.
The other nugget of info from the Roman Kate situation was that Rex was in a hit and run.
Yes.
Oh yeah, which was
bizarre.
Yeah, I feel like they needed to give Kate something, so like they gave her Rex, because otherwise it was like, why? I mean, Kate doesn't care that much. Well, I guess him threatening them, but that's like that's a daily occurrence between her and EJ. So I feel like that wouldn't propel her to want to kill EJ.
I mean, it definitely spooked her, but I think that Kate is rational enough to, like she told Roman, want to get the facts first. Because she has plenty of other sons to choose from, one of whom is in town. So Philip would have been a much easier target.
Yeah. I don't think it was Johnny.
I don't think it was Johnny or Roman. I think that something happened in the between time, we'll call it. Where so it's either Johnny didn't take the gun, he put it back. Roman took the gun and did something and then came and put it back. Or Johnny took the gun, Roman saw the empty, and he went and got the gun back from Johnny and put it back.
Yeah, there's still a lot missing. I'm going with the fact that this is my own. I think Johnny left the gun. I think Roman took the gun and had some sort of interaction with EJ that we'll see later. That's what I'm thinking. I don't think both of them had an interaction with him that night, but I'm getting the impression maybe Roman did, because I feel like Johnny, we've already had him and Johnny go at it a few times. If this were like a week ago, I would think Johnny, but I feel like him and Johnny have now talked a couple times, and like, not the anger is subsiding, but he's not.
It's not
feeling
elevated.
enough. Yeah, it's not elevated enough for him to want to grab a gun and shoot his dad. But I can see Roman maybe going over there with a gun or not and having an interaction with EJ. Maybe that's what we'll see.
Yeah.
Yes. And then on the list, I'm sorry, you want to say?
I was going to say Paulina. I don't think they were trying to like set up suspicion with her with the Chanel conversation. I was like, okay, stop. I don't think
that's why I was like, okay, if we can consider Paulina like a loose suspect.
Yeah,
you know I mean? Like
she's on the list of people who hate EJ. And so we have to have her in the suspect pool.
Yeah.
But do we take it as seriously? Probably not.
Yeah, and they were trying to like draw the comparison between is it TK or what's his name? Lonnie's dad, the abusive one.
Ray.
Oh, Ray.
Yeah.
Yes.
They were trying to make that comparison to like I think beef up her like her role in it, but it was like okay, it's not.
I mean, I think that's that's certainly a level of a new level of understanding. I think between her and her son-in-law, but I think that's where it ends.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
Yes. And someone else who we can consider not in the suspect pool because he found EJ would be Chad.
Yeah, Chad ain't a suspect.
Chad ain't a suspect.
He didn't do it.
Oh, he didn't do it. He was very shook up. And we got a lot of callbacks to just how many times Chad has been traumatized by gun violence in that house. That we all obviously thought
violence in general, like that just
violence in general. Yeah. I'm sorry because Abby was stabbed, and obviously that's the first thing we go to. That Abigail was violently stabbed by Clyde in the house, and EJ was right there with him. He came in like minutes after Chad did. He helped him that night. And I think that's one of the things that really bonded them as brothers. But we forget, and I'm glad that Kayla reminded that Chad was also there. Chad was he there? Hold on.
He was around.
He was around. Yeah. But Chad also thought that EJ had been killed before, and that took a toll on him.
Mm-hmm. It's funny when she mentioned like, oh, he it brings back bad memories. I actually thought she was referring to his shooting, Chad's shooting, when he took a bullet for EJ.
That's right.
When Casey was leaving the show, and then they eventually brought in Billy. That's what I thought she was going to lean into, and then she did, and then she just kind of mentioned EJ's shooting, the last one. I was like, oh, okay, that I guess that makes sense. But I was like, oh, you should have used the other shooting, like. When Chad jumped and took a bullet for EJ, and that I was like, oh, that would have been, I think, a better one to use. But.
Yeah, I mean, I think it would make sense if not for the fact that is not the most traumatizing thing that's happened to him. The most traumatizing thing that happened to him was finding his wife dying in the house, which I think that's what's at top of his mind right now is that because that now it's the second time he's found someone he loved dying in the house, where he's just and it's shattering to him.
I like Kat being there. This week is I like them again. This I thought was a good way to use them. The previous week we talked about I thought was silly and
ridiculous.
It was like a retread. Yeah, like this was a good way to use them and to build upon not just their chemistry, but build upon them being closer and putting him and Kat closer together.
Yeah, but seriously, hurry it up. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, but I liked what we got this week of them. Yeah.
Yes. Okay, so.
We didn't do the bell. Sorry, we skipped over the bell part.
Oh, the bell part. Yes. Yeah. So Belle, oh my gosh, I feel bad for Belle.
Yeah. Girl is just
She's in it.
She's you know what?
Yeah.
And she knows it.
Mm-hmm.
Did anyone else think part of me thought maybe it was gonna be like a switcheroo where she took off the wire before going in, like when he was trying to like seduce her and open up her jacket, part of me thought like, oh, did she change her mind and like he was gonna open it and not see a wire, and then that would have been like the.
That never occurred to me. No.
No.
Yeah, I part of me thought that for a second. I was like, oh, maybe they're gonna, surprise us a bit here and go with that. But
Yeah, that was just a lot of sexual attention.
yeah.
Even when he wasn't, as Debbie said, talking to her chest.
On the side note, Martha looked amazing. I was like, can you dress Belle like this more often?
Right,
Like,
with her
she looked-
updo
yeah.
and that black dress, like yes, that's
I
like
also
that's
think
a power look right there.
I also think that this was shot. You could tell that Martha had a tan because I
Yeah.
think this was shot like around summertime, so you could totally tell that Martha had a tan at the time.
And I like that they established that she was dressed that way before the wire thing. So it wasn't like she changed into that. You know what I mean? It
Right.
wasn't like, oh, let me throw on something sexy to do this. It was like she was already dressed that way before Jada approached her. I was like, oh, like can we
See,
can
I
we
took
just
it. I
Belle
took it
more
as,
like
as
this
like that was.
then?
I took it as like that was her office attire. Like that was her work outfit for the day.
Yeah.
And-
No, yeah.
Except I kept getting confused about what time of day it was supposed to be this week.
I
Except
think
obviously
they were
it was
confused
dark, but
too.
I was like, oh, is it morning? Because then someone mentioned breakfast or going to school, and I'm like, wait, what? I got confused about what type of day it was and all the episodes this week. But no, yeah, I love it when they have the ladies in like a power, like I call it a power updo. Like whenever they have their hair in an updo, I'm like, oh, they mean business.
Uh-huh.
Bad bitch.
She looked really good.
The bad bitch updo. Yeah.
Because we have no time to be pulling our hair out of our faces. All right. I think that concludes.
Is that everything regarding EJ?
Yep. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a comprehensive circle of suspects. We will add to / subtract as this story continues.
I love that
And-
EJ's there.
As the world turns, hands continue to flow through the hourglass.
we will keep you updated on who done shot EJ.
We will keep you updated on who of these bold and beautiful people put EJ in the General Hospital.
Oh my god.
Let's see, what else? What else? Oh, because somebody went beyond the gates
Oh,
and
God.
shot EJ.
God.
At the Demir Mansion.
So, okay,
What do
recap
you
again. Just so,
I mean, Michael, you sure there's not vodka in that?
No, this is all me.
so I'm going Little Rachel. Michael, you're going set up by EJ. Araceli, what
I'm
did you have
going.
again?
I'm just more interested. I'm not as interested about who pulled the trigger. If it was a person, if it ends up being an actual person, and not something EJ set up himself. I'm more interested in just the whole. I think EJ had something to do with it, and I'm just interested in what his plan was. And yes, I think the coma was part of the plan.
Okay.
I think he was drinking something that would aid the situation. And yeah, I think it's yeah.
Yes.
And you Araceli, or were you not saying?
I mean I've already said who I think it is. I think time will tell.
Wait, who'd you say? I can't remember.
I think it's either Little Rachel or someone we haven't seen
Okay.
on the canvas.
Okay.
I
Yeah,
just
well-
don't make it somebody we don't care about. Like if they're gonna make it, if they're gonna make it one of these people, don't make it someone we don't care about. Don't bring someone out of thin air.
I agree.
Like
Yeah.
I just keep thinking about when the Who killed Kristen, but Kristen wasn't really dead, and they thought it was Susan, but then Susan's not really dead. So and then they came up with this 41st Banks sibling who was dying anyway.
Yeah.
And so
yeah.
took one for the team. And I'm like, that's just, I was so disappointed with that whole thing. I was like, that was a miss, y'all. You
Or
were even
even-
us along for months.
when it was Jan Spears, and we were all like, Jan Spears, and then they concocted this whole like
They had to make
subplot with
they had a
them.
retro.
Yeah, that didn't connect, that none of us saw. It was like,
Wait, huh?
yeah, it was Jan who shot Charlie. I can't even remember why.
what?
That's how, yeah, it was
Wait.
Jan Spears. Yeah.
Why don't I wait? Hold on. Why don't I remember this? Why did it?
Case in
Wasn't it?
point. Case in
No,
point.
I thought it was Allie.
No, it was Jen
No.
Spears.
Jan Spears.
I do not remember this.
I can't. That's what we're
Wow.
saying.
And
We
there was
can't remember because they made up a situation where Jan and Jan wanted Charlie dead, and I can't remember. Chat room, if you remember, can you remind us why Jan shot Charlie? Because it wasn't something.
She tried to frame Belle. Remember with the red coat. Remember? They
Oh,
ripped off Pretty
okay.
Little
All right.
Liars
It's coming
with
back to me.
the red coat.
Okay, it's coming back to me. Yeah.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, even that there was no. I mean, that's
Jan and Claire
things,
were.
yeah.
It had to do with Claire too, because
Yes.
Jan and Claire were.
Yeah, and Jen
Getting
had the
close,
like
right?
the
Yeah.
weird like
Yeah.
stepmommy thing.
Oh,
going
that's
on with
it.
her.
Remember, Charlie was like getting rough with Claire because him and Claire were starting to have a thing, and then Jan saw. Okay, that's it. She was basically like not avenging Claire, but she did it to. It was like kill two birds with one stone.
Okay.
We mess with Claire, and I want to get rid of Belle.
Yeah.
That was it.
Got it. Okay. That was
nothing to do with any of the other murder suspects that we saw
Yes.
go in and out of.
I mean, okay. I mean, the good news about this list is that every single person on this list has a legitimate reason to want EJ dead.
Yeah.
Again, it would be
it would be on that list. Yeah.
Yes.
An attempt would be understandable.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So there's no one on the list currently that doesn't have a legitimate reason for wanting EJ dead, and we will continue to add and subtract as the suspect pool either expands or ends.
There were a couple character mentions in the chat room that I think were kind of interesting.
Yes, and I promise chat room I will add them again as we move on in time, because I'm sure we will be subtracting people from this list as well, so some room will open up.
It's be like a bracket. It'll be.
I love a good bracket.
Yeah.
His convulsions were a little intense. I was like, Dan's gonna hurt himself.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Again, I think he did it to himself, though. We'll see, but
we'll see.
Maybe
so that was the major storyline that happened this week that we were all leading up to. And then there was one other storyline that is just getting started, but at least we got some movement. So we have a piece of information now about where in the world is John. So about
Rosebud.
Yes. So okay. So this is what we know so far. We have after this week. Okay.
Michael, I know. As soon as I was writing, I was like, Michael is gonna have a field day with this one.
I can't.
I in contrast to Michael, think this was actually very clever.
It was
because as we've stated, what we don't like is random people or people we've never met being involved in a major storyline. People kind of like the retcon thing. It makes sense for John to be going after Orpheus, for John to be gone this long, to be MIA, to go this deep underground and not tell Marlena what is going on. Orpheus is the logical conclusion to that. Now, granted,
I agree. I just get annoyed that Orpheus it's like a Clyde situation where this man can literally, it's like he can walk through prison walls. He can just do all this shit by himself. And it doesn't make sense. The only one that could do that that made sense because he was who he was Stefano. You know what I mean? Like no one in my mind can reach that Stefano level. So that's what annoyed me about it. Did I say it didn't make sense? No, it does make sense that John would be going after Orpheus. What I did like was that they didn't make it like Orpheus didn't get an opportunity to kidnap Marlena again. He was subdued pretty quickly, even though
We've got to talk about that.
What, the suitcase?
The action scene between Orpheus and Marlena.
I was just like, okay. I was like, okay. Go Marlena.
Look, at this point, I'm just gonna take it.
My other
Oh my
issue.
God.
My other issue is how are people getting in and out of this hotel room? I'm like, the door's closed, and yet Orpheus was able to get in there. Paul was able to get in there. I'm like, there is not an open door in the house, and y'all are coming in and out of there. How's it
Look,
happen?
I've never been to Estonia, so I have no idea what the hotel.
I doubt you can walk through. It's not
security
like
situation is there.
Ghost where you can walk through walls in Estonia. No, the walls are not penetrable.
That being said, I have been to some hotels in Europe that are still very old school with like the old master keys. It's not all updated. If you go to certain hotels, it is very old school. So, if you're a lock picker, I don't know.
I don't mind Orpheus. I just feel like it's like, give us something different. Like by the end of this week, he was already captured again. So I was like, okay, is that the thanks George De La Hoya for coming in for the day. You know what I mean? Like if you're gonna make him the big bad, again, it's the same thing we've said with Clyde before. Like make him a part of the cast or don't make him a part of the cast. Mm-hmm. This come in for 2 days and wreak menace over the whole city from a jail cell or something, and now Clyde is building this atop but not
Orpheus.
Orpheus, sorry, not Clyde. Whatever. He's building this bomb now, and he's already been caught by Marlena in a suitcase.
Hold on, because this is where I needed a little bit of a clarification. Was Orpheus the mastermind?
Yeah.
Or was he the buyer?
No, I think it was his operation.
Okay.
Yeah, because they found his.
He was selling the bomb.
They found his headshot at the warehouse. His headshot in the file.
Because all dossiers have a nice professional headshot, paper clipped, like it's a fucking audition. Whatever, I'm going with it. We'll go.
Yes, we're gonna go with it for now. But we agree that at least it makes sense that John would only go radio silent for someone like Orpheus.
Yeah.
Given their extensive history.
Yes,
yeah.
You're right. You are absolutely correct about that. As annoyed as I was when I saw that man's face last week, it does make sense.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's also a nice nod to history. Orpheus was John's first villain, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's around longer, but I felt like it was a little anticlimactic when he showed up.
It was just
in the same week.
And so a little bit, yeah. And then okay, so Andrew turns his back towards him and he leaves without making one little sound. Or leaves, but no, he's still there.
He goes to the corner.
He was still there.
He was in the
corner.
I'm
like, okay, so he's still. I'm like, what?
He was hiding behind the curtain,
he's like, peekaboo, bitch! I'm still here. Oh Lord.
Oh my God.
Okay, so in any case, what we know so far is that here's where we have left off. Orpheus was the mastermind that John was pursuing, which involved the sale of a nuclear weapon. Said nuclear weapon is now missing, along with John. And the nuclear scientist who was, I guess, somehow involved in building the bomb or controlling the bomb, whatever it is was dead. And there's a striking resemblance to John, at least from behind.
Okay, did anyone think that was John?
No.
Well, John, I'll say, because obviously we're not going to see John, but I kind of thought, I thought, oh, is this the way they do it? Do you know what I mean? When I saw him laying down, face down, I was like, oh, is this how we're going to see it? We're going to see him from the back, or we're going to see it from the top of his head. And that's how the story is going to progress with our version of John moving forward. So that part I did think. I was like, okay, this is going to be our John to close out this story. That's what I thought it was until they showed otherwise that it wasn't him. But part of me was like, okay, I already see it. They're not showing.
Yeah, there was something because I know when they came in, and I think it was Marlena. Was it Marlena that saw him first, or Paul that saw him first? But they both thought
Steven, yeah,
or
Steve.
yeah,
Steven.
But in my mind, I was like, oh, that's not John. That's a fake out. And I don't know why I didn't think like, oh, it could actually be John. But I really hope, and you know, it just, I think what we're seeing now, because in Tamra's post about leaving, she said it was July, and so it's airing now. Like, if they had been able to get Drake for like one more day, like I'm holding out hope that happened, that they were able to get Drake for just like one day. Given what we know about his health situation, it's unlikely, but I just think that would be it would be a really nice way to sunset the character if they actually somehow got him on the show somehow, whether they sent cameras to his house or I don't know, but
yeah,
that's my hope that my hope is that they keep it under, if that happened, they keep it under wraps. And so it would be a nice surprise for everybody.
Yeah. I also thought part of that too was thinking he was John was, we know the story now that Drake gave his blessing, but there was also an opening for him to come back if he had gotten better and survived. So that too made me think like, oh, is he going to be like an imposter John? And then that's the storyline. And then, you know, that was going to be their way out of like, oh, this guy was a fake. The real John is alive if Drake had gotten better and was able to return. So yeah, I mean, until they pulled him back, I was like, oh, this is our John from now on. Whoever this guy is, or this is the body of John, who we will see
exactly
in trickery for the next few months, kind of a way.
Right.
And it's a tricky line to, however this ends up. We know the end result, but it's a tricky, I can't imagine the stress that the writing room was under at the time, trying to figure out how to do this.
The proper way to do it, not just for viewers, but for Drake and the character.
Because I think it's different when you have a character who's a little bit older, like when we had when John Aniston passed, and then later when Bill passed. I think it's different in the sense that they saw their health declining for a number of years.
Yeah.
Slowly. I mean, Bill was 98 years old.
Yeah.
So they had time, and I think they had an idea of how to gracefully do it. But with in the case of Drake, I think it was just so fast. And we've already discussed that, you know, they had to retcon so many other storylines just because he got sick. Now having to realize that he wasn't going to get better. Is it, and you know, not only writing in his death, but writing in how he dies. Now we're getting questions of are we actually gonna see like a dead John, or is it gonna be like somebody else finds him after? Like what are we gonna see on camera, and how to do that tastefully to honor Drake and maybe not traumatize the cast and traumatize us as viewers? It's a really fine line to walk.
Yeah. I'm sorry, just to put a hat on it. No, I am interested to see how it plays out.
Yeah.
No matter how it plays out, it's gonna be sad.
Yeah.
But I'm interested to see how they were able to make, how they figured out how to do it,
Yeah. I mean, my hat's off to, Ron is sort of exiting here in terms of plot and stuff, and the new writers are coming in. So my hat's off to everyone involved, because everyone sort of had to deal with this.
Yeah.
But also the added pressure of there's only so much they knew. I mean, even Ken Corday said they're also gearing up for if he got better. So, not everyone knew that it was the last days. So it's like,
Yeah.
we're also trying to be respectful of this guy is our hero of the show and our main actor, and he could possibly come back in a few months. So you don't want to, you want to sort of leave room to also bring him back in his full glory if he got better. So it's like you're treading a weird like tightrope of respect and admiration, and it's a lot to handle. So however they handle it, it's a tricky thing. No criticism here. Kind of.
However, Christian Me World, no AI. No AI.
No.
No AI.
First of all, we don't have the budget for that.
I was gonna say they don't have the money to do an AI. That wouldn't even be.
And that would no, that ain't it. Even if they did have the money, that ain't it.
Yeah,
no, it's not. That I don't think is that is probably
we had a whole industry strike surrounding not using AI.
I know.
Yeah. And so and here I'm gonna veer off, and I'm gonna say something in defense of Ron Carlivati on this, who, as we know, this is the end of his writing on Days. This is where it's marked, but he's the one who had to bear the brunt of all of this, of trying to get us through the writer's strike. There was so much chaos in and around that time. He was like trying to get, like he did not do strike material, but he was like trying to fix basically what was going on at that time. And then he was he's been tasked with writing off 3 of the biggest characters in Days history: John Aniston, Bill Hayes, and Drake Hogestyn all died under his writing regime. That's a lot of pressure. It's a lot to ask of anybody. I feel like that, and so I want to give it to him to have like kind of trying to steer the ship in extremely uncertain times. Give it to him and to Jamie Giddens and to Noel and to all like the writers and the producers who have been trying to just kind of keep things steady, where it's hard enough to it's so hard to do a soap. And we talk a lot about this. We advocate about this a lot on the show. But when you're also dealing with the fact that you're losing again and again and again these people that you work with on a daily basis that are like front and center on the show, and you're the one responsible for having to figure out how to pay tribute to them and keep their legacy alive going forward, it's a lot of pressure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I just, there will come a time where I'll we'll give it to the rest of the cast as well, because we're gonna see them go through it on camera. But this being the end of Ron's writing, I do want to tip my hat. Yeah.
And while we're giving Ron his props, everyone hated the possession storyline came back, but I liked it. I loved it. Thought the way that they did the possession 2.0 was how it should have been done.
Yes.
And I liked how the devil bounced around into
used everybody.
Like it was like I enjoyed it, and I know people rolled their eyes at it and whatever. I thought that was like one of his best moments in his time here.
Bill Hayes with the colored contacts. I will never that had me going back to like 80s horror movies.
When the way he was like, I locked that bitch up on purpose. I was like, oh my god.
And especially the way it started, where we didn't know it was a possession. So remember, we thought it was a Doug Alzheimer's story. We were like,
we were all sad because we thought we were all sad because we thought he was losing his marbles. I remember that scene where he was eating the cheeseburger, all happy as pig and shit, and like Julie was talking about how he's like not remembering, and you're like, oh my god! And then he's pinching butts and
oh my god!
No, just on the Ron train, I guess if we're giving him what do the kids say? Giving him flowers.
Yes,
Giving him
it's
his
flowers. Yeah.
Like the possession for me, he deserves flowers for
Yeah.
the way it was brought back and executed was.
Yes.
And it led to a lot of as Debbie Bright said, like I think a lot of Emmy-worthy work that went unawarded, unfortunately, but gave a lot of the actors on the show an opportunity to flex some acting muscles.
Yes. But we in our award show, I believe we have awarded quite a bit from the possession, from the time jump. We awarded a lot of we gave a lot of people their flowers.
Oh yeah, and Dishin Days awards. Still got that to look forward to. The daytime Emmys may have been postponed, but the Dishin Days awards will still be happening. Not postponed. I'm sorry. The daytime Emmys weren't.
Were moved.
They were just moved.
They were moved.
They were just moved from June to October.
Have no idea if that's going to be a good or a bad thing. We'll see. It could be a total shit show.
On that time, yeah.
So, Justin, any flowers you want to give to Ron while we're on this? Before we storylines.
Well, I was saying earlier about him starting this. Just props to everyone having to deal with this. I mean, it's a lot to contend with, and yeah,
it's been a rough couple of years for the soap world. We're losing a lot of our veterans, a lot of our actors, even a lot of the writers. We're losing a lot of like the hit makers of the heyday.
Yeah.
So we have to give them their flowers while we can.
Yeah.
And that was your week of days.
I feel like that went quick, but
there was only 2 storylines.
This week was very concentrated. In terms of what was in terms of characters and what was happening. So
good word. Yes. But that was your week of days.
Your week of days, and then some lovely extra commentary.
Because we have thoughts.
We like to talk.
Yes. So without further ado, we'll just move on to our segments. No tidbits. Tony's not here, so we do not have our 3 snaps. So we will start with Michael Mattis's.
Whoopsie.
Caption that.
I amaze myself sometimes how I forget to do things. There we go. Okay. This week's Caption That photo comes courtesy. Oh, she didn't have an updo. She just had a ponytail.
Yeah.
Still power pony.
Yeah.
Anyway, this week's Caption That photo comes courtesy of Belle and EJ, and this week's caption comes courtesy of the Caption That Hall of Fame, probably. Megan Bizarro with her caption simply saying, "Yep, stigmatized." But that's what I was saying. Like, she even had a moment when Belle was talking to Brady. I swear, I thought she was going to be like, "Yep, I'm addicted to the dick."
Yeah.
But maybe in a more classy way. But
yeah.
And that was
Caption that.
And now we have
Those were the days.
All right, everyone, take you back to April 3rd, 2014, when Will and Sunny married each other. Of course, the family picture here officiated by Marlena and walked down the aisle by their mothers, Sammy and Adrian. And I actually did a Those Were the Days extended on this, doing some few sort of key highlights of the Wilson relationship for the first few beginning years of their coupledom here. But I love this photo. I really see this photo. I usually get a lot of the other one when they're at the altar and Marlena's officiating, but I always thought Sammy looked the best here. Like I think this is one of the times that Allison Sweeney or Sammy on the show looked amazing, and just that wedding I think was monumental.
It was one moment where EJ was actually a hero. He helped them get there was an marriage license.
Yeah,
issue with the marriage license, and he was the one that actually helped get it in time for the ceremony.
Yeah, we forget.
It was like one of those days weddings that like was a good wedding that everyone was invested in, so it was allowed to happen and be like a very big days positive moment kind of a thing. Loving.
I mean, for as tumultuous as EJ's relationship with Will was, and as pissed off as everyone is at EJ right now, he was always a Wilson supporter.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes. And that was
Those were the days.
And now it's time for
It's a gift.
And this week's It's a GIF, I feel, is a response to Megan Bizarro's comment. Or at least this is Brady's response.
I think that's like, that's the GIF representation of it. Just threw up in my mouth a little bit.
Yeah.
Yep. Stank
And
face.
that brother sister moment was just so authentic.
Yeah.
Where she was just like, I can't stop. And he's just like,
I'm loving their scenes lately. The past couple of months we've got of them. They've been really, really good.
Yeah.
And you know what we forgot to highlight? We forgot to highlight that several times this week Brady called Marlena mom.
I did notice that. Yeah, he did.
Mm.
Yeah, I did
That
notice
stuff
that.
goes over my head. I'm like, and maybe it's just because like I think it. So when it's said, I'm like, yeah, duh.
Yeah, I
But
mean, yeah.
I forget that she's not.
Yeah.
Yeah, but she might as well be. She's the only mother he's ever known.
Oh
so,
yeah, totally.
It's so sweet. Yes. But yeah, and that was
It's a gift.
And now it's time for
News and gossip.
All right, start off with some casting news here. Unfortunately, we are saying goodbye for now to the lovely Tamara Braun as Ava Vitale. She posted a heartfelt video, ironically, on April 1st on her Instagram, letting everyone know first that it was not an April Fool's joke. But she put together a little compilation video of her time on the show and saying that this week was her last sort of air week. And that she actually finished taping last July, which was, I don't know about you guys, but that was a big surprise to me.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, wow, she stopped last July and kept, and very rarely do we get a little surprise, as we know often on the show, we are usually spoiled with casting stuff months in advance. So this one was a little bit of a shock, but
I think they're actually listening to Tony now and keeping it under wraps a little better.
Good.
I know.
Yes.
The one thing I'll say, but I love Tamara Braun. I made a comment on her Instagram post there, which you can find at Tamara Braun. I said, "Oh, Ava will be back soon." I feel like we did this before a couple years ago, where she said goodbye, and then by the time we got used to her, a couple months had passed, and she was already back filming.
Yes.
So I think this is just to give Ava a little bit of a reset. I think, and I'm sure Tamara Braun will be back on set. Honestly, it'll be a month from now, and it'll be like Tamara Braun's back filming. So yeah, but we want to say thank you, good luck. Hopefully we will see you back very, very soon. But
stop.
Go check out that video. It's very sweet and heartfelt.
And stop posting things on April Fool's Day. I hate that day.
Yeah. Next up, we have some casting news for Remington Hoffman. He's actually starring in a new Tennessee Williams play here in LA. This one titled In the Bar of a Tokyo Hotel. It will run April 11th through May 18th at the Hudson Backstage Theater here in LA. And tickets and info, you can go to www.hudsontheater.com. So yeah, big congrats to him on that. Then we have our guest from last week, the lovely Miss Tina Wong. She's in a new short film called Renovation. It's a story on dealing with grief. You can actually view it it's sort of making the festival circuit now, but you can actually view it on TikTok at swift.org.au. So please go check that out and support Tina. I'm sure it'll be good, and we'll keep you updated if you can find it other places or any sort of awards it wins that's on the circuit right now. And speaking of short films, we have one from fiancés soon to be married, Casey Moss and True O'Brien. They have a new short movie called Bidet out.
I'm curious about this. I'm like, I need to watch this one.
I'm very interested in this one. But yeah, it is premiering at the Calgary Underground Film Festival. all tickets and information, you go to the Instagram account at Calgary Underground Film to check it out, and we will keep you updated on when it is in wide release. But yes, some definitely some entertainment to keep you.
You should be intrigued by the name alone.
Yes,
Wide release.
yeah. So yeah, it's for our casting info this week.
Yes. Next up, the Days glam and hair and makeup team did decide to play a little April Fool's joke on the stars, which is the only April Fool's prank that I give my seal of approval to this year. All the other ones failed. So you could see there several stars with the oversized comb and toy hair dryer, and see who had the best reaction. You could go to
These were funny.
These were hilarious. Guys, please go watch them. They are absolutely hilarious. And yeah,
only April Fool's joke I liked this year. Michael might have tried to get me, and I was like, nice try.
I know, I tried, and y'all were like, no.
I'm
like, well, okay.
No.
I thought I had a good one too, but
no. You know what it is? For an April Fool's joke to be legitimate, it has to be funny. Like you were trying to like piss me off. I could just see Tony having like a mini heart attack.
Even Tony was like, right.
Yeah.
I'll respond tomorrow.
Yeah, so no. But yeah, Days Glam Team, good on you. You did
really good one.
Yeah.
I feel like they posted that first one earlier on April Fools, and I feel like they got so much good. They posted a second one, so they did. So now you'll see everyone who they sort of messed with. It's hilarious, guys. Please go check it out.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah, then we have our reminders. Again, the Day Players Band is continuing their tour into the new year with shows in Oklahoma City, Addison, Texas, Albany, Pottstown, PA, and again, the San Diego newest one that they added in June. And of course, for our Canadian fans, the show in Toronto on September 6th of this year. All tickets and info, go to thedayplayersband.com.
Mm-hmm. And the same weekend as one of the Day Players shows, you can find the rest of the Days of Our Lives cast at the Pan Can Walk in Santa Monica. They will be representing Drake's team called the Hoagies Home Runners. So this will be Saturday, April 26th in honor of Drake. Martha Madison will be the lead on this team, with Dan Fiergel stepping in for Eric Martzoff, who will be out of town with the Day Players. So you can go to her Instagram right now at Marth27 for event details, as well as the link to donate. If you're going to be in town, please sign up to be a part of the team. And a reminder that there are, I believe it's 100, I forget the number of other Pan Can Walks around the country, but there are other Pan Can Walks going on around the country. And Martha has said if you would please attend those if wherever they are in your area, if you're not able to attend the one in Santa Monica, and please share photos in honor of Drake.
Yeah. Next up, we have our Star Image events. We have a new one that added. This one is going to be a Stacey Hyduke birthday Zoom with Eric Martzoff, taking place on Wednesday, April 23rd. And then, of course, we have the summer concert and dance party happening the weekend of June 20th to 21st in Montreal, Canada. And that aforementioned Day Players concert that we mentioned in Toronto, that one they're teaming up with Star Image. So you can also get tickets and information for that, the birthday Zoom, and the summer concert at eventbrite.com/Star Image Entertainment.
Half my photos just disappeared.
Disappeared? Oh, okay.
I'm like, wait, what happened?
Oh dear.
Wait, hang on. Just to give the Day Players they're just there we go.
There we go. Yes.
Toronto, Canada.
Yes. Ooh, our Canadian fans are going to be very happy.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. All right. And finally, Samantha and friends have two upcoming events. The first being their Winter Wonderland charity fundraiser gala, which will take place the weekend of May 3rd through 4th. And they will have their Haunted Mansion event the weekend of Saturday, September 13th. And September 14th. So for tickets and information, go to samanthasfriends.org.
And last but not least, we have some new pics of this week's event. We've been telling you about the Cinco the Derby event that Starstruck Fan Events has been putting on, and we actually got some fans to send us some pictures. So again, we're always asking if you guys do attend these events, please send us pics and we'll highlight them on a corresponding show. But yeah, this is the Cinco de Derby event. We got some pics from Jen Virgil. We also got some pics from, oh my God, where am I forgetting her name? Who sent in a lot of them?
The Paul Telford band, yeah.
Yes. I'm forgetting. Okay. Sorry.
Shout it out if it's you.
Yes, I'm forgetting her name. Sorry. But yeah, we've got some.
Yes, but yeah, several of our members.
Yeah, it's Paul and Julie. I mean, sorry, not Paul. Remington and Julie.
Remington and Julie.
And then
yeah,
group one there.
It looked like a very successful, fun event. Yeah. So I'm glad that a lot of you guys were able to attend.
Yeah. So yeah, when we do mention these, please again feel free to send us some pictures and information. Tell us how they were, and yeah, we'll highlight them.
All right. And before we head out,
and that was.
Oh, and that was, yeah.
News and gossip.
And before we head out, let's take a look at the promo for this coming week's Days of Our Lives.
A family feud that's off with a bang.
Kristen's one crisis away from a straitjacket, and EJ's fighting for his life in a coma. Time to make our move on Tamara.
Family reunions bring confrontation.
Sammy. Hello? Sister dearest.
And celebration.
Hi. Oh.
Days of Our Lives.
Oh, wait! You can't start a celebration without moi.
Vivian.
You came here to say goodbye to me.
To get what's mine.
Days of Our Lives.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
Ooh.
That was funny. When I first watched it, I was like, oh, that's a short pro. Oh.
Yeah.
I was like, surprise, bitch. Ain't over yet.
Yeah. I love that. So we get two.
Yeah.
Okay, we get not one, but not two, but three returns this week.
Yeah.
Two of them I'm fine with. One.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, two legends are returning this week. Who Allison Sweeney reminded us that they actually were on at the same time, like way back in the early 90s.
Like they all three were.
No, that Louise Sorel and Allison Sweeney had like their big storylines were going on at the same time, but that just Allie was a teenager at the time.
Oh well, yeah, and then Vivian got involved with her whole scheme to break Austin and Carrie up.
Yeah. So it's kind of cool. It's kind of a cool return.
Yeah. Oh, I just want to say, Brienne. Sorry, Brienne is the other. Yes, the other.
I just wanted to say, I know her. It's Eeyore.
It's like, Eeyore is her handle.
Like, that's not her real name.
Yeah, no, I didn't want to say.
We pardon this show for Tony.
Record scratch. Don't start the celebration without me. Okay, Tony. Yeah, we've already been through it. Yeah, okay.
Look, okay, to be fair, we didn't know that Vivian was coming back this week.
Yeah, so that's true. That was a surprise.
Let it go. Let it go. And that was this week's Days of Our Lives, and that was your episode of Dishin Days this week. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. We will be back next week for a new episode, but before we head out, we would like to remind you all to please follow us on all social media platforms. We are Dishin Days Show on Facebook, at Dishin Days on Instagram, and Dishin Days on X and Threads. You can find us on all your podcast stations. We are on Google, iHeartRadio, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. And please remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us, like our videos, get us bumped up. And we have an exclusive members page that you can subscribe to for $4.99 a month. If you are not already a member, please go ahead and sign up. As well as follow JLJ Media, our dear friend James Lott Jr. on YouTube, where he covers the remaining soaps, General Hospital, Bold and the Beautiful, and Young and the Restless, as well as exclusive audio content on his channel. So please give him a listen. And make sure that you follow Mr. Michael Mattis on Instagram and Twitter. Where are you, Mr. Michael Mattis?
Who? Who am I?
Where are you?
ML Mattis on Instagram and Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it.
And you can find
Um,
Justin.
Find me on Instagram at Justin Lee Hareld.
And you can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Tia323 Araceli. And you can find Loungin' with Tony everywhere on Loungin' with Tony, Mr. Tony Moore, who will be back next week with us. So I believe the four of us are going to be back together again next week.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Yay. Okay. Next week, you have the four of us to look forward to as we bring Tony in on this list. Tony, you like my chart? We might just keep this. We might not need Tony's whiteboard. All right. That has been your Dishin Days for the day.
Happy White Lotus finale evening.
Oh, happy White Lotus
that's
finale
right,
evening.
yes.
For those
I need
of
to
you-
get on that. I am watching it right. It drops at 6 p.m. At 6:01. I will be watching it because my ass is not going to get spoiled.
Oh yeah, I gotta watch it tonight.
I am watching it as soon as it's available.
I
agree.
love that.
I
We're
gotta
bringing
watch
back.
Bimby, gotta go get my dinner made so I can sit and I was like, okay, wait, it's such a beautiful day. I was like, wait, do I want to go like watch the sunset at the beach? And I was like, no, I need to watch White Lotus at 6 p.m.
I guarantee probably somebody at the beach watching it on their phone.
I considered that. I was like, I'll just watch it on my I'm like, no, this is like appointment television. I need to be on my couch.
I love appointment television. We need to bring back appointment television.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
See you next week,
Bye,
everyone.
everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Love you lots. Where's the outro? There it is. Bye.